Hi Mitrano, welcome to e-learning platform initiated by Science Park, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Here is the third part of the topic History of an Atomic Theory. Now in this part, we will first see what were the shortcomings of Rutherford's atomic model, which were eradicated by Niels Bohr's atomic model. We'll see Niels Bohr atomic theory in detail. Then we will study subatomic details. And then we will see distribution of electrons within the atoms. What are the rules for distribution of electrons? And thereby we'll learn about electronic configuration. And lastly, we will study valence electrons. Now let's revise what we have learnt in last session. We discussed that in early 18th century, even though Dalton stated the atomic model and he said that atoms are indivisible and indestructible, and he was saying that the structure of atom is like a billiard ball, a solid sphere. But then at the end of 18th century, in 1897, J.J. Thomson came up with an experiment where he discovered electrons, negatively charged electrons, and then he said that atoms are made up of negative and positive charges. So there is an internal structure of atom. So this was the first experiment who showed that atom has an internal structure. Then Ernest Rutherford came up with alpha particle experiment. We have seen the experiment very closely and observed all the points in that, where he stated that the plum pudding model of J.J. Thomson is incorrect, where J.J. Thomson said that electrons are embedded in positively charged base of an atom, whereas Ernest Rutherford observed in alpha particle experiment that there is a certain exact structure of an atom where positive charges are at the center and most of the part of atoms are vacant or there is vacuum. Then Ernest Rutherford put forth his atomic model where he says that positive charges of atoms are at the center and negatively charged electrons are revolving around that positive charges in an atom. New Zealand-based physicist Ernest Rutherford stated his atomic model. The atom has a tiny, dense, positively charged core called as a nucleus, in which nearly all the mass is concentrated, around which the light negative constituent called as electrons circulate at some distance, much like planets revolving around the sun. But there is an established law of physics which states that when an electrically charged body is revolving in a circular orbit, its energy decreases. According to this law, the atom described in Rutherford's model turns out to be unstable. But in reality, all atoms except radioactive atom are stable. This shortcoming of Rutherford's atomic model was removed by the atomic model put forth by Niels Bohr in the year 1930. Niels Bohr published his atomic theory in 1913, which proved the shortcoming of Rutherford's atomic model. We still use atomic theory, atomic model, which was given by Niels Bohr, which is well known as Niels Bohr atomic theory. Let's get to know some more facts about Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr was a Danish scientist. He was from Denmark. He got Nobel Prize in 1922 for his atomic model, for his services in the investigation of the structure of atoms and of the radiations emanating from them. To put forth the stability of atom, he used Planck's quantum energy theory, which was recently published at that time. In later years of his life, he worked on the Manhattan Project, which was basically for US atomic bomb.
Atom. Various models of the atom have been proposed by eminent scientists over the years. These models have increased our understanding of the atomic structure. Among these models, Rutherford suggested that electrons revolve around the nucleus in well-defined orbits, but there was a problem with this. The motion of electrons in Rutherford's model was unstable because any charged particle moving in a circular path emits electromagnetic radiation. Thus, the electrons would lose energy and fall into the nucleus, making the atom highly unstable. Then, which would be a better model of an atom? To overcome the objections against Rutherford's model of atom, Niels Bohr in 1913 proposed a new atom model. What does this model propose? It first proposes that electrons revolve around the nucleus in specific orbits, and these orbits are associated with definite energies and are called shells or energy levels. These orbits or shells are represented by the letters K, L, M, N. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a particular orbit is 2n to the power of 2, where n is the number of the orbit. Thus, K shell would have 2 electrons, L shell would have 8 electrons, M shell would have 18 electrons, and N shell would have 32 electrons, and so on. That said, what does this model next propose? It next proposes that the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost level is 8. And finally, it says that the orbit closest to the nucleus has minimum energy and the orbit farthest has the maximum energy. Well then, does an electron radiate energy by itself? Since electrons move in a particular orbit, they do not radiate energy by themselves. What happens instead is when an atom absorbs energy, the electrons get excited and jump into the next higher energy level. The electron can radiate energy and return to its original state or drop down to the next energy level. Bohr's model works well for simple atoms and is easy to understand. It is one among the atomic structures still in use today, and the other being the quantum mechanical model. Things to remember. In 1913, a Danish physicist, Niels Bohr, proposed an atomic model known as Bohr's atomic model. In an atom, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in definite energy levels called orbits or shells. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a particular orbit is 2n to the power of 2. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost shell is 8. The orbit closest to the nucleus has minimum energy and the orbit farthest has maximum energy. Electrons are excited to the higher energy levels by absorbing energy and return to the lower energy levels by radiating energy.
Here is a timeline of some of the major ideas in the atomic theory timeline. We started from 5th and 6th century. Then in early 18th century, in 1803, Dalton stated that the structure of atom is like a dense billiard ball. Thereafter, in late 18th century, in 1897, J.J. Thomson discovered negatively charged electrons, and thereafter in 1904, J.J. Thomson put forth his atomic model where he said that there is a base of positive charges all over and negatively charged electrons are embedded in that. This model is well known as a plum pudding model. In 1911, Ernest Rutherford came up with a definitive atomic model where he said that there is a very dense positively charged nucleus at the center of the atom and tiny negatively charged electrons are revolving around it, but he couldn't explain the stability of atom by this atomic model. Then, in 1913, Niels Bohr came up with a very elucidative and definite atomic structure which was self-explanatory for the stability of atoms. Nowadays, we either use Niels Bohr's atomic model or we use Schrodinger's electron cloud model. Schrodinger's electron cloud model you will learn in later years of your academy. Let's recall Bohr's atomic model and its postulates and revise subatomic details. In Bohr's atomic model, it is like a planetary model. He described it in 1913, in which negatively charged electrons are revolving around positively charged nucleus. Second postulate is nucleus is surrounded by orbiting electrons at a definite energy levels, which are named as K, L, M, N. Now, why these names K, L, M, N, and why not A, B, C, D? So, dear friends, there are no definite reason for putting these particular alphabets as K, L, M, N. They are some random alphabets. Next, very important point is energy of an electron is constant while it is in orbit. K shell is the lowest energy shell, while N shell is the highest energy shell. The maximum number of electrons which can accommodate in an orbit is 2n to the power 2, where n is the number of the orbit. For example, after the nucleus, the first orbit is always n1, second is always n2, and third is always n3, so on. When an electron jumps from an inner orbit to an outer orbit by absorbing energy which is equal to the difference in the energy of these two levels, it jumps from lower energy orbit to higher energy orbit. Then, after radiating the energy out from the outer shell, the electron again jumps into the inner energy orbit. Okay, आता तुम्हाला फ्लेम दिसतीये, ब्लू फ्लेम आपली शेगडीवरची. हां, याच्यावर मी मीठ घेतलंय, मी चिमटीमध्ये साधं आपलं टेबल सॉल्ट, आणि ते टेबल सॉल्ट मी याच्यावर टाकतेय. काय दिसतंय? ब्लू फ्लेम येलो होतीये, बरोबर? हे असं का होतंय आपण हे डिस्कस करूया. ओके, नाउ व्हॉट इज टेबल सॉल्ट? टेबल सॉल्ट म्हणजे काय तुम्हाला माहिती आहे का? व्हॉट इज द केमिकल फॉर्म्युला फॉर टेबल सॉल्ट? येस, it is NaCl. Now here this Na is the symbol for sodium. सोडियम ॲटम मी इथे तुम्हाला दाखवलाय. सोडियम ॲटम मध्ये किती इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आहेत बघूया आपण. 1, 2, हे बाहेरचे 8 + 2 10 and this one is 11. 11 electrons सोडियम ॲटम मध्ये आहेत. Now according to Bohr's model, electrons travel in a specific path in an atom. This is called as orbits. Now electrons have definite fixed energy. The closer they are to the nucleus, the less energetic energy that they possess. म्हणजे सगळ्यात आतल्या ऑर्बिट मधल्या इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मध्ये सगळ्यात कमी एनर्जी असते as compared to outer orbital electrons. Okay, now when I put table salt on a flame, blue flame, immediately yellow spark forms at that place. आता आपण बघतोय याचं कारण काय आहे. So this electron of sodium atom absorbs energy and goes to the outer orbital. It jumps to higher orbital. या दोन orbitals मधला जो energy difference आहे तो constant असतो. And it is different for different energy orbitals. Now, if this particular electron absorbs energy which is exactly equal to the difference between two orbitals, this electron jumps to the outer orbital, takes the position in the outer orbital. After some time, this electron which is excited in outer orbital loses its extra energy in the form of radiations, and then it again come back and take its original position. हा जो येलो स्पार्क आपल्याला सोडियमचा दिसत होता, that was the extra energy that the sodium atom was throwing outside. You got it? Now let's understand how electrons get distributed in the atom. We always distribute electrons using the formula 2n to the power 2, where n is number of orbitals in the atom, which are named as K, L, M, N. Okay. Now consider this as a vacant atom in front of you, and this white part at the center of the atom is obviously the nucleus. Now imagine that you have a bucket full of electrons in the form of blue balls. If I ask you to fill up first orbital, that is K orbital here, how many electrons will you fill there? Now we'll use this formula where n is equal to 1. So we'll put n, substitute 1 in this position. So 2 into 1 to the power 2 is always 1. So 2 into 1 is 2. So you will fill 2 electrons at first orbital. Now after K there is L. Now in L orbital, how many electrons will you put there? Third electron will come and take the position in L orbital. Now the formula for L orbital is 2 into 2 to the power 2. So in all, 8 electrons will come and take the position in L orbital. Okay, so on and so forth. For example, if we take M orbital, what will be the formula for M orbital? Correct. 2 into 3 to the power 2. So 18 electrons will be occupied in this third M orbital. So this is how electrons get positioned inside the atom, and this is how atom is formed. Now let's revise some of the important points before we go and see the electronic configuration of the atom. Number of electron in the extranuclear part is equal to number of protons in the nucleus of the atom. Therefore, electrical charges are balanced and atom is electrically neutral. The total number of protons and neutrons in an atom is the atomic mass number of that element. The mass number is denoted by the symbol capital A. The convention to denote atomic symbol, atomic number and mass number are together is shown as follows. We always say, write down the symbol given to that element. A denotes the mass number and Z shows us the number of protons. Now for example, the conventional symbol 12,6C means proton number of carbon is 6 and the mass number of carbon is 12. Now let's see the electronic configuration of carbon. We always write it as 2,4. So what does it actually mean by 2,4? Let's see that. Now let's learn the electronic configuration of electron. The shell-wise distribution of the electron in an atom is called as electronic configuration of that atom. Now let's see this with by writing the electronic configuration of carbon. C is the symbol for carbon. Now we all know that atomic number of carbon is 6. That means there are 6 electrons outside the nucleus of carbon. Now I am showing you here the empty shells of carbon atom, and we will go on filling the electrons in the atom. Now we know, according to the Bohr's theory, that the innermost orbit of carbon is called as K shell. It always has 2 electrons in it. So let's fill 2 electrons in K shell. Now we have 4 remaining electrons in the carbon to fill up in L shell. So L shell will have 4 electrons. Let's go on filling 4 electrons in L shell. That's how we complete the filling of electrons in carbon atom. So the electronic configuration of carbon that we write is 2, 4. Even if there are 4 electrons in the outer orbital of carbon, that is in L orbit, it does not complete the octave of carbon. Now let's learn what do they mean by number of valence electrons and what is valency. Valency means the number of chemical bonds formed by an atom. Atoms of helium and neon, both are gaseous elements at room temperature. They do not combine with any other atom. So these elements are chemically inert. It means that their valency is 0. Now how? Let's consider helium. There are 2 electrons in helium. Now as we know the theory of how electrons get filled in an atom, we know that these 2 electrons will fill the K shell and will complete the K shell according to 2n to the power 2 rule. So that is called as duplet. So helium has a duplet, and that's how it completes the K shell. In case of neon, there are 10 electrons in neon. So the electronic configuration of neon is 2, 8. So in L shell, all the vacant spaces of electrons get filled with 8 electrons, and that's how it completes the octet. And that's how these 2 elements, helium and neon, are called as inert, and thereby their valency is 0. Generally, the valency of an element remains constant in its compounds. Atom forms chemical bonds by using electron of its outermost shell. So valency of an atom is determined by the configuration of its outermost shell. For example, we just saw the electronic configuration of carbon in the earlier slide. So we know that there are 4 electrons in L shell of carbon, and it is not completing its octet. So can we say that every time carbon atom will form 4 bonds and take 4 electrons from another atom to complete its octet? Therefore, the outermost shell is called valence shell. Also, the electrons in the outermost shell are called as valence electrons. So, can you tell me how many valence electrons carbon has? Correct. Carbon has 4 valence electrons. Okay. Now, till now, we have seen so many atomic theories, and the research is still on. So which one of you will develop a better theory and win the Nobel Prize? I'm waiting for that. Okay. So here we complete our chapter. Now to understand all the concepts and get to know it better, I have developed a game for all of you. So let's see what the game is all about. By playing and practicing this game, you'll be you will understand what the electronic configuration is, what is the valence electrons, and that thereby you will understand and remember all the atomic numbers of the elements in the periodic table. Let's go and play the game now.
हॅलो मित्रांनो, आज आपण मेक युअर ओन ॲटम नावाचा गेम खेळणार आहोत. तुम्ही पत्ते खेळले असतील, पत्ते खेळायला सगळ्यांनाच आवडतं. आता बघा, आम्ही अशा पद्धतीचे हे पत्ते तयार केलेले आहेत. दीज आर कार्ड्स. या कार्ड्समध्ये एलिमेंट्सची माहिती दिलेली आहे. आपण पिरियडिक टेबल पाहिला तर पिरियडिक टेबलमध्ये आजपर्यंत 118 एलिमेंट्सचा शोध लागलेला आहे. 118 एलिमेंट्स हॅव बीन डिस्कवर्ड टिल डेट आणि ते सगळे टॅब्युलर फॉर्ममध्ये इथे मांडलेले आहेत. सो आपण पिरियडिक टेबल तुम्हाला आत्ताच्या मूवीमध्ये जो दिलेला आहे ती मूवी पॉज करून एक पिरियडिक टेबल प्रिंट काढून घ्या. A3 पेपरवर एनसर्कल्ड असे हे सर्कल्स काढून घ्या. ह्या सर्कलच्या मध्यात जे दिसतंय दिस इज आर न्यूक्लियस. फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट, सेकंड ऑर्बिट, थर्ड ऑर्बिट, सो ऑन अँड सो फोर्थ. आपण शिकलो की ॲटममध्ये किती प्रकारचे सब ॲटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स असतात. करेक्ट, 3. व्हॉट आर दे? These are 3 subatomic particles of atom. This green one are protons, pink ones are electrons and blue are neutrons. आता घरातल्या जुन्या खेळाच्या मोनोपोली वगैरे गेम असेल तर ह्या टिक्क्या असतात, कलर्ड टिक्क्या, त्या तुम्ही या गेमसाठी वापरू शकता. किंवा जुन्या गेमचे कुठलेही छोटे छोटे प्लास्टिकचे आपल्याकडे हे असतात ते आपण ह्या गेमसाठी वापरू शकतो. आता आम्ही हा गेम कसं खेळणार आहे हे खेळून दाखवतो, मी आणि शामकाताई. सो मी आता कार्ड्स वाटणार आहे. 1 कार्ड फॉर शामकाताई, 1 फॉर मी. अगेन 1 फॉर शामकाताई, 1 फॉर मी. आय गेस 3 कार्ड्स खूप झाले का ग शामका? आता शामकाताई तिचे कार्ड्स बघणार आहे, मी माझे कार्ड्स बघणार आहे. आधी कोण खेळणार? शामकाताई. ओके, शामकाताई खेळणार आहे आधी. ठीक आहे, आता मला माहिती नाही शामकाताईकडे काय कार्ड्स आहेत. आय एम पुटिंग डाऊन माय कार्ड्स. शामकाताई खेळणार आहे, ती एक कार्ड घेईल, बाकीचे 2 खाली ठेवून देईल. तिच्या कार्डमध्ये दिलेल्या इन्फॉर्मेशन प्रमाणे दोज मेनी नंबर्स ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स आणि न्यूट्रॉन्स ती आधी सेंटरला ठेवणार आहे. सो विल काउंट हाऊ मेनी न्यूट्रॉन्स शी इज पुटिंग इन. 3, 4, 40 न्यूट्रॉन्स तिने ठेवले. 1, 2, 3, 12, 13 maybe and 14 if I am not wrong. So 14 neutrons, 14 protons तिने आत्तापर्यंत 8 ठेवले. Now we know how electrons occupy the position in atom. They first occupy the innermost orbital. Innermost orbital मध्ये 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स असतात. त्याच्यानंतरच्या ऑर्बिटलमध्ये, हायर ऑर्बिटलमध्ये 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 असतात. 8 + 2 10 झाले. करेक्ट. And she is occupying all the positions. So there are 10 electrons. So far 11, 12. We'll keep on counting. 13 and 14. Okay, are you done, Shamakatai?
Yes.
Now it's my job to guess which element is that. मी काय करीन आता, आधी तुमचं पाठ होईपर्यंत तुम्ही काय करा, पिरियडिक टेबल समोर ठेवा. पिरियडिक टेबलमध्ये हायड्रोजन दिसतोय, त्या बॉक्समध्ये वर डाव्या हाताला कोणता आकडा दिसतोय तुम्हाला? व्हॉट इज रिटन देअर? करेक्ट, 1. हिलियमच्या इथे 2, लिथियमला 3, सोडियमला 11, ॲल्युमिनियमला करेक्ट 13. हे जे नंबर्स आहेत दीज आर ॲटॉमिक नंबर्स. सो दोज मेनी इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर देअर इन दॅट ॲटम. Now there are 14 electrons. So which atom it will be? Yay, it is silicon.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yay, I got 5 points. Woo! I won the game. Now it is my turn. Okay. So I have this card. I'm showing you. Don't show it to Shamakatai. So it's very simple for me. I have 2 protons. I have 2 neutrons and I just have 2 electrons. सांग बरं शामकाताई. हे बाकी सगळे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मी काढून टाकणार आहे.
हेलियम.
करेक्ट, शामकाताई जिंकली. तर शामकाताईला 5 पॉईंट्स मिळाले, मला 5 पॉईंट्स मिळाले. कळाला तुम्हाला गेम? या पद्धतीने तुम्ही गेम खेळा. तुम्ही 5-5 कार्ड्स घेऊ शकता आणि सपोज तिचं चुकलं तर ते कार्ड मी तिला देणार नाही. आय विल कीप इट टू माय साईड, देन आय विल हॅव 10 पॉईंट्स इन माय पॉकेट. असा गेम तुम्हीही खेळा आणि आम्हाला जरूर कळवा तुम्हाला आमचा गेम आवडला का. बाय बाय.